In this video, we are going to be talking about our toxic people and not just our regular toxic people. We are talking about our sociopaths, our psychopaths, and our narcissistic people in this video. So if you have not already, check out my book, First I Had to Meet Me. And the poem that we're covering today is But She's Crazy. Y'all, buckle up because we getting into it. So the poem goes, shielding her from other men, wanting all her love and attention to yourself. It was okay for you to flirt and date around, but didn't want to see her with no one else. Acting confused when her words turned harsh, becoming Chris Tucker, not understanding the words that are coming out of her mouth. Figured you have nothing to do with how she became that way. Asked how she gonna act like that, then begging her to stay. She blows up your phone when worried. You tell those around you, man, see, I told you she crazy. But quick to sneak back and text, I'm okay, don't be worried, baby. Had her believing that she was all you need. Instead of being her Superman, you were like her Christopher Reeve. She slipped up and told you all her mistakes and flaws. You saved it to your memory and then capitalized on it all. Made her quit her job because you said as her man, you would take care of everything. After all, that's the perks of her having your ring. Had her doubting herself whenever she doubted you. Remind her that the things that she thought was things that you would not ever do. Anytime she would start to recognize gain, you made her believe it's rigid. You made her believe that it's residual feelings from that last lane. But instead of relieving her from the past, you treated her the same. So while you go around putting out the perception, it seems more like you're upset that she no longer wants to be a part of the game that you play. No, baby girl is not crazy. She's just lucky that she got away. So in that poem, you can kind of see how it is of how someone's manipulating your thoughts, trying to invoke behaviors and things on you, and then telling everyone else around that you're crazy and already kind of planning that into other people's mind, kind of as a way to put you out there as you're the problem. They tried, they're the solution. You're the one that made it, worse or whatever. And you are the one that made it hard for them to wherever they're trying to be in life. You out there as, again, you are the cause. You are the problem. They tried so many different ways to be good to you, and you keep doing these things, and that's why they're seeing the end. They're not seeing what's being put into it. So like in the poem, they see that she's calling a lot, but they don't see the fact that, he's doing those things to lead up to it. So getting into that, you have those three. You have your psychopaths, you have your sociopaths, and you have your narcissists. So let's think old school. Let's think of trains. And no, we're not going to do the whole math problem. Telling my age there. But let's think of trains. They're all running on the same track, parallel to each other. That's how it is with the psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists. It all runs parallel together. So sometimes they can overlap with each other, but they are sometimes it's like this. It's so close to telling the difference between them. So they are, at least with sociopaths and psychopaths, they are considered to be your antisocial personality disorders. And with that, you think antisocial, like, oh, you don't want to be around people. With that, the definition of that is they're callous, unemotional, morally deprived, they're deceitful, manipulative, uncaring. That's the kind of people that they are. And with your psychopaths, that's embedded from birth. Like that's in their genetics. With your sociopath, that could be learned over time. It could be from abuse. It could be from trauma or things that happen as a child that leads them to become a sociopath. Of course, with your narcissist, that is the same as well. It's a whole kind of learned environment type of thing. So the common traits, they can be antisocial, not meaning as far as they kind of shy away from everyone, because you gotta remember they're charismatic. They are so charming. It's like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing. Oh, he is so just on top of the world. I cannot imagine not liking him. So they're so charismatic. So it's not so much that they're not wanting to be around people, it's just people draw from them, and sometimes they can step back, but at the same time they can be very popular because they're charismatic. So people, like I said, are drawn to them. So they are very popular people at times as well. They can be in higher positions. When you come to thinking of jobs, they're not the ones that are the workers. They tend to be the boss. Okay. Narcissist, superficial, impulsive, unemotional. They don't have any guilt or empathy. So they're able to, and this completely just like, oh my gosh, when you think about it, they're able to mock feelings. So if they see you being sad, they're able to mock being sad, but they don't actually feel the sadness. They can easily, off and on, they can, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for you. I'm so, just like that. Like they can cut it off because they don't actually feel those feelings, but they learn how to mock those feelings, especially when they're trying to manipulate and get something out of you. They're able to give that emotion of love. They're able to pretend like they love you or that they're in love with you to keep giving them things that they want. And it's like, wow, when you think of that, it's so and I know sometimes we think of we think of psychopaths as being killers. Like when you ever watch a movie, a sociopath and a psychopath, those are usually the killers. Which those that are serial killers are most likely psychopaths. Like those that have been serial killers that we've known in our history have been psychopaths. Now, every psychopath is not a serial killer, but majority of serial killers are psychopaths. Kind of, yeah, with that. And it's because they don't have that emotion and they lack the feeling of guilt. They have no guilt. Psychopaths don't have guilt. They can do something and not feel guilty about it. They have no shame. They cannot relate to other people's feelings. They don't feel sadness. They don't feel depressed, but they are able to give off as if they are, because they know that's what keeps the people that they want to keep around them. That's what keeps them doing for them and giving to them and being a part of that pawn. Which is how, when in the poem was saying she's crazy, well, they play these little manipulative games to get those emotions out of you, because it brings them, you want to say joy, but then we remember they don't feel joy, so it brings them some type of satisfaction. Let's just say that. Okay, so let's talk about the signs. They're likable on surface. Of course, they are probably Prince Charming probably would have been one. They are so likable and lovable and popular and just like, oh my gosh, people fawn over them. They tell stories that make themselves look good. So like in the poem, telling how, she's crazy and she's doing all these things, and everybody else like, oh wow, I can't believe you're going through that, when really they're not telling the whole story of what's causing those reactions. So they like to make themselves look good. They have a sob story for everything. It could be, oh my gosh, this came up and I had a flood and my backyard flooded, and now I gotta pay to have someone come and extract the water, and it started to get into my basement. And it's like, oh my gosh, well, how can I help? Can I do anything? Bam, got you, just like that. And they probably have no worries about it doing that, but they know they can get that out of you. So think about that. Again, charismatic, very funny, very likable. They struggle with staying engaged with repetitive tasks, especially with psychopaths. They get bored very easily and very quickly. They're easy to get bored. That's why psychopaths tend to be more promiscuous than your sociopaths or your narcissists, because it's about the chase for them. They get bored with the one, they move on to the other. So they're more promiscuous and engage more in multiple sexual partners. And again, no feelings or no emotions towards that. So you can be upset with your psychopathic partner for cheating, but he or she is not going to feel guilty about it, because to them it got boring and they're after the next one and after the next one. And it's that constant thrill seeking. It's that constant thrill of having a new partner. But you think, okay, well, then why not let your partner go? Because that person is bringing something that they need, whether it's bringing finance because they're being taken care of. If it's taking care of the house, if it's cleaning, if you have children, it's taking care of your children and they need that from you. So that's why they keep that person around while they're out, as you want to say, in these streets. Okay? They have inflated views of themselves. They see themselves as this high, amazing, I'm up here, you low lives are down here type of vibe. Like they see themselves as they're the cream of the crop. Okay, they are the brightest, shiniest diamond. They have that overinflated ego. And how dare you not see my talent? How dare you not see my skills? How dare you not recognize that I was there the day that God created the earth and I was part of that creation? Matter of fact, I helped him. So they have like that type of attitude. They are pathological liars. We're gonna cover that more in depth later on, but baby, keep that in mind. Okay. They use guilt to get people to do things. So say you were supposed to meet them and you were running late. Okay. So now it's like, wow, I wouldn't have, got this parking ticket on my meter if you were on time, but now I have to pay extra because you showed up late. Well, it's like, okay, well, let me take care of that since I was late. And, I'm sorry. They use that kind of guilt trip. Or I would have been able to get more work done, but remember I had to come help you because your tire went flat. Now I was late doing the, hey, let me pick up that. Or why don't I run and do it and let you fix my tire? I run and do that for you and you can get back on schedule where you're supposed to be. They use sadness to manipulate. Like I said, they have a sob story for everything. Like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe, like when I was 6, my cat had died and that was my only friend. And it was just hard because my family was constantly moving around. So when I had that cat, I felt like I finally had a connection to something. And I just never felt like that again. And now you're constantly trying to fill that and bring them out of that and do whatever you can whenever those emotions come up, which really they don't have those emotions. They might not even have a cat because remember, pathological liars. So they don't have those emotions. So, but you're trying to feel that and they know that other people have feelings and emotions. So they play on the guilt. They play on the sadness. They play on your depression. They play on people that isolate themselves for others so they're easier prey, as opposed to picking out someone that's in a big group of people where they have people that have their back. It's easier to pick a loner, but not saying that they won't, because they see that as a conquest, especially if you're a psychopath. You see that as a conquest because it's this new thrill. It's this just I have to conquer this type of attitude. Okay. They use anger to intimidate. So they make themselves bigger, or they get upset with you and they get mad at you to make you back down. So now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And of course that leads to your mental and your emotional abuse. Like I said, they don't experience emotions. They are able to mock emotions and they are able to make it seem like it, but they don't experience emotions. Even with psychopaths, they don't experience close bonds in love. Now, your sociopaths are able to make bonds. It may be hard, but they can, at some level, have a bond with someone. Your psychopaths, they don't. Now, they may be married, may have a significant other, but they're not truly bonded to that person. Again, the bonds that they have and the people they have in their life because they serve a purpose, not because they're bonded with them. They take advantage of people's kindness. Either is for financial help, for work help, for help around the house, for help having their dreams, whatever it may be. They have this dream boat that they want. They use people's kindness for that. They have maternal and paternal people that they tend to draw from as well. And then, of course, they have their admirers that they draw from. They're, like I said, they're likely to cheat because, again, it's that thrill that they're seeking and they feel entitled. Like, I deserve to have however many people I want. I deserve to have the highest of the high. I deserve to have the best looking man in the room. I deserve to have that bomb chick. You know, whatever it may be, they feel entitled to it. They don't follow rules or laws. So these are the people that your speeders, your texters while driving, not carrying multiple tickets. Maybe they're even get to the point of robbery, things like that, because they feel like they are above the law. The rules are meant for someone else. How dare you try to put a law on me? How dare you try to run me? That type of attitude. It's like when most people, when you're getting pulled over, your heart is just like, oh my God. Oh my gosh, what did I do? Where's my insurance? Where's this? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I forget the signal? With a psychopath, it's more of a okay. Like, they don't have that anxiety or stress because they feel like they're above it. Like I said, they believe they're special. They believe that they have these privileges. If I'm looking down, sorry, I'm just reading my notes. So let's get into the actual, more into the signs. Now, your psychopaths and your sociopath, they surround themselves with ex-lovers, potential mates, people that they know have feelings for them. They surround themselves with people that are going to give them that added attention. So they have to have people around them that are interested in them, that desire them, because of course they're desirable, they're special, they deserve these privileges. So they have these people around them that kind of feeds into that ego of theirs, that feeds their desire for attention. And sometimes with a psychopath, it may not be that they really care so much that they have that. It's just they need that around because they need people feeding into them, and they need people that they can use. And again, if you are going to manipulate someone, it's easier to manipulate someone that you've, one, already been with, two, desire you, and want you. So it makes it a little step easier, and it's a less hurdle that they have to go over. So that's why they keep them around them. They manufacture feelings in you. This one hits home, like y'all just don't know. So they manufacture feelings in you. An example of that, they will, feed you with that attention. Like, they're texting you, they're calling you, they're keeping in touch on a daily basis. Maybe every so often, every few hours, they're reaching out to you and doing that, right? Then they'll go without talking to you, without calling, without responding. And then when you say, like, hey, I haven't heard from you, or, what's going on? You haven't said anything to me. You haven't, talked to me. All of a sudden you're needy. It's like, wait, am I being needy? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so used to it. I didn't know. They invoke, for instance, jealousy. They will publicly flirt and do so in your face, or do so on social media where everyone can see it. They're leaving hearts under her picture. They're leaving hearts under his picture. They are, telling him, wow, I can see you've really been in the gym. And then when you question her on it, it's like, oh, so you jealous? Like, I can't give someone a compliment? It's like, okay, I wasn't thinking that. But it kind of starts to build that up. So if you were never a jealous person before, now all of a sudden you find yourself being jealous, because they're invoking those emotions in you, and they're manufacturing it, and they're doing these things on purpose to get that reaction out of you. Because you got to think, for some people, if you're not jealous over them, if you're not needing their attention, if you're not wanting them around, they feel like you don't want them. But if they can do these little tiny things and these little tiny tests, okay, well, they do desire me, because look how quick they got jealous when I was on this person's profile, or look how quick they got jealous when I, complimented the waitress, or I smiled at the waitress. Look how they got that. And it's like, to them, it's good because I got what I wanted from you. But from you, now it's starting to put you into that place of starting to question yourself, like, when did I become so jealous? Why am I this way? Why am I needy? Why, Why am I trying to desire to please all the time? Why am I being like this? And it's because they start to do these things, and it plays on your emotion, and it's done on purpose to evoke these emotions out of you. And then it makes it easier for them when they're putting out the agenda to other people that you're crazy, or that you're a jealous person, or that you're always needing them. They have this evidence because they planted that in you and started bringing out that side of you. Pathological liars. They have an excuse for everything. You can have a CVS receipt list of evidence. Go through every single one of that 100 items, and they have a reason for every single one. Like, okay, why do you have a receipt for Ruth Chris while I was doing your laundry, and you have a receipt for Ruth Chris for last week, but you told me you were working late? It's like, yeah, I was working late. Well, then why is the receipt? Well, I don't know where it came from. Are you kidding me? Then why was it in your laundry? And you start to like, okay, what is really going on? Like, I see this, you see this, like, look at this paper. Like, we both can see it. Why are you lying to me? And then becomes the turnaround. Well, why are you going through my stuff? Well, I was doing your laundry. Well, why are you going through my pockets? Well, why are you doing this? Why are you questioning me? And then becomes that defense thing. What is wrong with you? Who goes through people's stuff? Who questions people on some receipt? Maybe I got hungry. Maybe I ordered some food, but you trying to accuse me? You trying to say I was with somebody? It's like, whoa, okay. All I'm saying is you said you were late. You were working late. Like, what in the world? But they do these things and build these things, and they get that defense. And it's like, no matter how much evidence you have, they will find some way to either turn it around to you on why are you looking? Why are you searching this? Why are you looking up this? Why are you going through this? Or they'll find some way to make you feel bad and start questioning your own sanity. Like, oh, well, maybe they didn't work late last Thursday. Did I imagine that? Like, you start to really question yourself because they know that. And they will never admit that they're wrong. Like I said, you have this whole CVS full of things, of different things that they've done, and they will never, ever say that they are wrong. They will never be like, you know what? You're right. I did say I was working late, but I went ahead and got something to eat. It might be, yeah, I did say I was working late, but some of the partners wanted to get together and have dinner, so I dropped by there real quick. I didn't think to mention it. It's not, I'm sorry. It's not, I should have said something. No, they never take responsibility for that. And the only time you will find them confessing up to something is when they have another plan in place. They compare you to others. Listen, they do this in both a good way and a bad way. So they'll compare you and be like, before you, there was no one in my life that, cared about me. No one in my life helped me. No one in my life listened to me. No one in my life actually was concerned with I'm going through. No one was concerned with my everyday, with my emotions, with my mental health, with how I'm doing physically. No one stepped in when I needed someone. Before you, I had no one to call when my tire went flat. Before you, I had no one to call when I ran out of gas, or, to get me back and forth. And then the moment that they get upset with you, then it becomes, you're just like everyone else. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, buddy. I thought you said I was above everybody else, but now all of a sudden you're mad and I'm just like them. It's like, you're just like everyone else. You don't believe me like everyone else didn't. You're going to leave me like everyone else left me. You don't care what I'm going through like everyone else didn't care. It's like, so they compare you in a good way when they're feeling good, but then they compare you in a bad way when they're trying to devalue you. And sometimes they will devalue you once they're ready to move on to someone else. So those traits, like, say they loved your hair. Oh my gosh, I love your hair. Your hair is what draw me to you. And then towards the end, when they're getting done with you and they're getting bored, like we said, your psychopaths get bored and they're on to the next thrill. Then it's, oh my gosh, you always wear your hair out natural. I want to see someone that has a straight bob. I want to see someone, that can do braids, but you're always doing this. So it's like the same thing that you said attracted you to me it's the same thing that you're putting me down for. So they will build you up, and then when they're ready to discard you, will devalue the very same things that they built up. So that builds that in you, like, oh my gosh, great, my hair's not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm never gonna be good enough because now I don't have a bob. I don't have braids. I don't have this. So you start to really, then you start to say, okay, when they said they like my weight, did they really like my weight? When he said he liked big girls, did he really like big girls? When she said, she liked little teddy bear, did she really like a teddy bear? Because now she's seeming like a different person. Now when I see her, she's posting all these pictures of dudes with abs and all. So it starts to build that thing in you, this very same thing that they said they loved about you. They start to devalue that in you. They gaslight. They call you crazy to others. Again, they love to tell you how no one's ever been there for them but you. So now when you start to wake up, you're just like, I wonder if everyone else tried as well like I tried, and how they must have felt, This one. So they claim to hate drama, but they have the most drama in their lives. Like, oh my gosh, how do you have so much drama for someone that hate drama? And sometimes they will build that up around them because, again, it's that thrill. They get bored. They will sit there and can go from seeming like they're in a good mood to barely talking to you, and you're just like, what happened? Nothing. I don't feel like talking about it. I don't want to talk to you. It's like, oh my gosh. So now they built that argument up. They built that sense of, what did I do wrong? Now you're trying to figure out, well, what happened between here and 2 minutes ago, that all of a sudden I made them mad. So you're trying to think of all the different things that might have happened. And again, because they like that drama, they will manufacture it if they need to. They expect a level of admiration, loyalty, and respect from you that they're not going to give to you. So they want you to admire them. They expect you to be loyal to them. And you bets, okay, that's how I'm saying it. Bets not disrespect them. But at the same time, they're not going to give that to you. They're going to lie to you. Again, pathological liars. They're going to cheat because they're promiscuous. They are going to disrespect you. They are going to do all these things, but they dare not let you slide with getting away with being disrespectful, with being disloyal. Let them find out you text somebody else. They will lose it, but they can do it. So it's those things, that these levels that they expect you to be up here while they down here. Okay, but you're lucky to have them because, again, they are special and privileged, so you can't complain. They talk bad about the people in their life. So they will down the people in their life, but they keep the people in their life. So you feel like, oh, wow, first you're coming to me with this, so you must really trust me. And then two, how dare these people do this to you? How dare they do that? They said, what? Oh, like you ready to fight for them. And that's another thing. They will have you disliking people you've never met because of the way, again, like I said, they make themselves look good. So you will be ready to square up with someone you have never met because they implant that into you. So again, they will do this. And now you're just like, wow, they came to me with this. They told me how this person really is. So now I know, how their business partner is low down and blah, blah, blah. But they keep that person around because, again, every person they keep around because they have a need from that person. So, of course, they keep the business partner around. Maybe the business partner's credit is better. So they need them around for the business to keep going and be able to get, higher loans and stuff like that. But they'll tell you these bad things. So now you're thinking, there's something bad about this person. And it may be something might be bad, but probably not. And now you're hating their business partner. You're hating their dad. You're hating their sister, their mama. Like, you don't like these people because they are feeding these stories. And you, like, are you kidding me? So they love to be the center of attention. They love to be the center of your attention. Your plans have to revolve around them. They do not like it if you don't cancel plans for them. It's like, hey, well, what are you doing tonight? I want to go out to a restaurant. Well, I have this project, that I have to do. So I have this presentation that I have to give. to the business partner next, in the morning. So I got to work on that. And it's like, oh, wow. So you would choose that over me? Like, how dare you choose that over me? I'm your girl, I'm your woman. You're supposed to be there for me. And now you're not there for me because of some little presentation. And again, they just hate when they are not the center of your attention. So with all of that being said and all of that coming out, how do you move forward with these kind of people? Simple, you don't. you don't. And if you're like the kind of person where I'm going to give them enough love, I'm going to give them enough attention, I'm going to be there for them, because remember, everybody else ain't there for them. No one has ever been for them. So I'm going to be that person that's for them. And I'm going to be that person to show them how a good mate is. I'm going to show them how a good partner can be. I'm going to show them how a good friend can be. And you're doing all of this and it does not make a difference, okay? Because one, they have no emotion. They have no feelings. They can never love you the way that you want them to love you. They can never love you the way that you love them, because they don't feel that emotion. And it's just plain and simple as that. And it's hard to hear and it's hard to deal with, because we want so much to believe that we can love people to where they want to get help. And that's another thing. They don't get help because, one, they don't think they're sociopaths. They don't think they're psychopaths. They don't think they're narcissistic. They think how they are is perfectly fine. And even if they go to therapy, it's not because they want to. It's either it's court ordered or they're dragged into it. And even then, nothing changes because the fact that they don't see an issue. The only time you may notice a change, and I use that term loosely, is when they learn to adapt. So they don't feel shame, but when enough people act in a certain way, they'll change, they'll change something or adapt something. It is not because they felt shame for it. It's just because people are making it seem like they should feel ashamed. So now it's like, okay, well, I need to mock this emotion because this apparently is supposed to be how I feel. So you can't change people like that. You can't expect them to give you the type of relationship or friendship that you desire or that you deserve. That's the better word, that you deserve. They can't give that to you because they're not capable of it. So I hope all of this was helpful. Again, first I had to meet me by Zman Show, and I